Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today we'll be discussing travel tips and things that I like to do when I'm in Vegas. So the first tip that I would suggest is flights. Usually when you go to Vegas, before planning your trip, you have to figure out how you're getting there. So the airport is conveniently close to the Strip, so you don't have to worry about travel time to and from the airport, how close it is from the Strip, and also cab fares or Uber fares or anything like that, because literally it's like 5 minutes away from the Strip. You'll be surprised at how close it is. Also, one of the tips that I have for looking for flights is using the Hopper app. It's an app where they track flights for certain destinations that you're going to, and they tell you when it's cheaper to book or when the fare that you're looking at is going to get lower, so they notify you so that you can book the flight right then and there on your phone. And then another suggestion that I do have is watching out for Southwest, because they have a lot of low fare sales, so sometimes you can even get a fare to Vegas for as low as $49 each way, which is very convenient. So if you're living in the West Coast or you are planning to fly and Southwest flies to and from your nearest airport at home, you can take Southwest to Vegas. And what's also nice about Southwest is that, I don't know, for me, I noticed that either when I'm going to Vegas or going from Vegas back to home, they always provide me with a complimentary drink. I think that's also funny because it's like, oh, you're going to the city of sin. It's a good way to celebrate. The second tip is for hotels. So usually when I book a hotel, I either go on the hotel website, depending. There are a ton of hotels on the Strip. Each hotel sometimes has like their own offer for the weekend. I do notice that during the summertime, if you do plan to go to Vegas during the summertime, it is a little bit cheaper just because it's very hot in Vegas. Like it can get up to like 111 degrees. So usually that they lower the prices for hotels to attract more people to come in and stay at their hotels. So that's another good tip. And then also on hotels.com, there are a lot of like low rate specials. There's even like Hotwire. They do the whole thing where you can like book a 4-star hotel, but they don't tell you what hotel it is, and it ends up being a nice hotel. They have those rates. So yeah, that's my tip for hotels. My third tip is transportation. So when you're going around Vegas, I think it's best to go either with a rental car, or if you do plan on driving to Vegas wherever you're from, if you live in the West Coast and you can easily drive to Vegas, you'll have your car there. A lot of hotels do have free self-parking, or if you want, like if you and your friends aren't getting a rental car, you can also do Uber, taxi, or Lyft. All those areas have their own designated pickup and drop-off points at each hotel. Even at the like malls on the Strip, like there's the Fashion Show Mall, which is on the north side of the Strip across from the Wynn. They have their own designated area for Uber, Lyft, and taxi pickup and drop-off. And they have their signs out, so it's easy to grab a cab or an Uber or a Lyft, and it's not even that expensive. I want to say at most it's like $7 to and like from the north side of the Strip to the south side of the Strip. So my fourth tip is, depending on what your intention is for when you do plan to go to Vegas, if your intention is to party, I would suggest planning 2 weeks before your travel dates what day clubs and nightclubs you want to hit with your friends, and also if you guys do plan on getting a table or not. So usually what I do is I go on like Vegas Day Club. I literally Google Vegas Day Clubs and I see who's performing or headlining during the time I'm there, and I kind of just plan it out with my friends, and we prioritize what clubs we want to go to and what clubs are our backups for it during the entire time we're there. If your intention is to party out there in Vegas, there are a lot of nice clubs to go to. My favorite club that I go to almost all the time, every time I'm in Vegas, is Omnia. I just love how big the venue is. They have like a really huge hip hop room, and then they also have like a really huge main stage, like dance floor area with the chandelier that moves. And then they also have the outside terrace with a view of the strip. It's a pretty big venue, and I love how big it is, and you can kind of just walk around and explore, and also like listen to different types of music while you're in the same club. And then once you and your friends kind of have a schedule of what clubs you're going to and what days you're going to the clubs, I would suggest hitting up a promoter. Usually promoters have like great hookups, and they can get you into certain clubs for free depending on the ratio of men to women, or if it's an all-girls group. To find promoters is you can either go on Instagram, you can literally search like Vegas promoters, and you'll see all these Instagram profiles of all these promoters. In the bio, tell them what group they're a part of, if they're part of the venues for the Wynn Hotel, or the venues for Omnia and Hakkasan, or the venues for Mandalay Bay, which does light and daylight, and then there's also Marquee. So it kind of just depends on what promoter you pick. And then usually what you do is like either you can call them or text them depending on what it says in their bio, and just say, hey, I'm with a group of friends, we're going to Vegas this weekend, can we get on the guest list to this club? So that's what I do all the time. I actually have a list of promoters on my phone, and I kind of just go through them and pick out which ones I think will work best for me that weekend, depending on what clubs my friends and I go to. Another suggestion or tip is for tables. So if you and your friends are planning to spend for bottle service at a table at a club, it kind of just depends on what club you're going to, and it also depends on who is headlining or like DJing that night. So if it's, let's say, like a really popular club like Omnia, and let's say someone very popular is DJing, let's say maybe like Calvin Harris or Zed or Martin Garrix, any of them, if it's a popular DJ, the table prices are going to be, usually they're very expensive. They can go from like $1,500 to $10,000. It kind of just depends on how close you are to the DJ that is performing. So the closer you are to the DJ that's performing, which is on the main dance floor, it's going to probably be around 10 grand. And the farther you are like from that DJ, so if you're in another room, if you're like outside but you can still hear the music inside, it's going to be around $1,500. I usually don't do table service just because I just don't want to stay in one place. I like to go around and like explore other parts of the club. And then the fifth tip is, if your intention for going to Vegas is just to have fun and kind of just do whatever and like see what Vegas is like without the party scene and the club scene, you can definitely do that. There's a bunch of other stuff to do. You and your friends can always walk down the strip. You guys can get Fat Tuesdays and drink all along the strip, or you can like do a spa day at the hotel, or like watch a Cirque du Soleil show at night instead of going to the club, or you can watch like artists that have like a contract with the hotel to perform like live shows. I know Boyz II Men is probably at the Mirage, and like J-Lo and like Britney and Mariah Carey, they're all performing, and I think Cher also performs too at Caesar's Palace, and then there's Celine Dion. So you do have a bunch of like those artists that you can go through and pick which night you want to see them, or you can pick like 3 artists. Like every night you're there, you and your friends have something to do. There's also a lot of like cool bars on the strip that play just like hip hop music or chill music, and it's not gonna be as packed as like a club venue. And then also like you guys can also go to like Fremont Street, which is like the old downtown Las Vegas. They have like a lot of stuff there, a lot of casinos, and they also have like this interactive kind of like, not interactive, but like this digital display on top of the street. It like kind of covers Fremont Street, so if you're walking on Fremont Street, you see it when you look up, and it's just like all this digital art displays. And then there's also like zip lining along Fremont Street, and then also there's a bunch of other stuff. You can even do the wax museum. Madame Tussauds, her wax museum is over there too. Then there's like the M&M store, and there's just a bunch of other stuff you can do. You can also do like tours. They also have like the Hoover Dam, which is not too far from Vegas. It's like southeast of Vegas, like a good 30 minutes to an hour away, depending on traffic. Then they also have like helicopter tours of the Strip. So my sixth tip for traveling to Vegas is that if you do plan on doing any like nature stuff, like if you're into hiking and you want to see like the outdoors side of Las Vegas, I would suggest either going to the Valley of Fire or the Seven Magic Mountains. And they're both like opposite of each other in comparison to the Strip. The Valley of Fire is east of the Strip, whereas the Seven Magic Mountains are southwest of the Strip. And they're not that far away from like the actual Strip. They're a good like 30 minutes to an hour away. But yeah, that would be my sixth tip. And then my seventh tip is that if you do plan on shopping while you're there, the Strip has a very, very, very nice like high-end shopping type of vibe. But also there are two outlets on the Strip, and there's one on the north side of the Strip and there's one on the south side of the Strip. So if you do have time and you want to do a little bit of outlet shopping, you can do something. You can either go to the one on the north side or the one on the south side, and depending on what brands you're looking for, I don't know which outlet serves what type of brands, but if you do a little bit of research, you can always pick which outlet works best for you. Then my eighth and final tip is eating and restaurants. So on the Strip, there's a lot of good places to eat at. I suggest trying what you find on the Strip. Usually me and my friends, what we do is like, if we don't know what we're gonna eat, we like walk on the Strip, and if we find something we think sounds great, we eat it. We like go to the restaurant and like have their food. But I would suggest, if let's say like you're coming back from the clubs and it's really late at night and like you want something to eat, I would suggest going to the Secret Pizza place. And it's, I think, on like the third floor of the Cosmopolitan, and they serve fresh hot pizza for like $5 a slice, or you can get a whole pie. I don't know how much a whole pie is, but yeah, and it's usually pretty packed after the clubs. And then also for breakfast, I like to either go to Hash House A Go-Go, and they have one on the Strip and then a few off the Strip, so it depends if you have a car or not. Like you can either go to the one off the Strip or the one on the Strip. They all have the same menu, so it's not really a big deal to you know, decide which one you want to go to. And then also I like going to, there's this one restaurant right under Paris, I want to say. It's in front of that hotel, and it's called Hex. I think they're cool, like little breakfast place, because they have food for anyone who has like specific dietary needs, which is very nice. And then for buffets, my favorite buffet is Bacchanal at Caesars. I do love their morning brunch because they do have bottomless mimosas, and they only give you a time limit of 2 hours. But Bacchanal has a lot of cuisine. They even have like a ramen bar, a street taco bar. You can like have prosciutto and like crab, and like you can even, like, if you do bottomless mimosas, you can even suggest a server to give you champagne in your flute. And then they have like a whole juice bar where you can like get all these juices and put it into your mimosa and make your own little mimosa, which I think is very cool. For dinner, if you're gonna do a buffet, I would suggest doing the Bellagio buffet. The last time I had dinner there was like about a few years ago, and I had their Chilean sea bass there. Oh my gosh, it was the first time I tried sea bass, and it was so good. So it's one of those like buffets that are like chill, and it's not overly crowded, and it is a bit pricey, but you're getting what you pay for when it comes to food. And then another tip I want to suggest is that you're like me, I don't know, me being Asian, I do gravitate towards like Asian food when I do get hungry. So if you have a car or if you're willing to pay for a cab or an Uber off the strip, I would suggest going to Chinatown, which is basically across that I-15 freeway, and you just go over the overpass and you're in Chinatown. And they have a ton of like Chinese restaurants, dim sum places, boba. There's even a karaoke bar, a ton of karaoke bars in Chinatown that stay up late. So it's a really fun place, and they also have like all you can eat Korean barbecue. It's just a very big area, and I wouldn't suggest going to like an Asian restaurant on the strip unless it's like PF Chang's. But like if you want something like authentic, I would suggest going to Chinatown because they do have all the Asian food fare that you may want. And that is all the tips I have for when you do plan on going to Vegas. I hope this video was filled with a lot of information that you may need for your next trip when you're going to Vegas, or if you have never been to Vegas, I hope this video has helped a lot. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel so you never miss a travel tip with me, Kat. So thank you again for watching, and I look forward to my next video.